Welcome to my fantasy football construction crew. Some of you are looking to flip that dynasty team from a rebuild to the envy of all your dynasty neighbors. This is Dynasty 365, and I'm your host, Chris Burns. My demolition crew tonight consists of Tyler Howe and Rich Sickles, and we want to help you turn your squad around. So tonight, we'll review some of your teams in transition and give you insight and advice on moves that could possibly move your team from an up-and-comer to the established contender. So, Tyler, do me a favor. Be like Gronk on a remodeling show and smash that intro, please. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Dynasty 365. With me tonight, we got my man Tyler. We got my man Rich. Welcome, fellas. Welcome. How are you gentlemen doing tonight?
Oh, man, I couldn't be better. I love the Dynasty Fixer-Upper episode. I love looking at these teams and breaking them down and figuring out how to get them better. And I love hanging out with you guys.
The feeling is mutual, my friend. It's definitely mutual. Rich, how are you doing tonight, man?
I'm doing good. I was just gonna say I don't think that I could say it any better than Tyler just did. I'm really excited about looking at some of these teams and going into like how I like to look at dynasty rebuilds and when I start to and whatnot. So yeah, no, I'm excited for tonight. This is gonna be fun.
You're right. You guys said it. It's going to be a lot of fun. Thank you to everybody who's watching us on YouTube right now. Remember to drop your comments, questions, or whatever you have into the chat, or you can tweet us. And if you have trade questions or anything like that, throw those in too. You know, we'll respond whenever we can. We'll try to help you guys out. So before we get into our Dynasty Fixer-Upper, first topic, we're going to be talking about some breaking news. It's the dog days of summer, so there's a lot of false information. Nobody really cares. But one thing that happened, Justin Jefferson, he got paid a historic 4-year, $140 million contract extension, including $110 million like that can be guaranteed, but $88.7 million is fully guaranteed at signing. $35 million per year. Jefferson becomes the highest average non-QB in NFL history. Rich, does that mean anything to you?
As he should. I mean, as he should be paid the highest. No, I'm excited about it. I mean, we've mentioned multiple times how much of a Vikings fan that I am, despite all the counter arguments that you might come up with, Chris.
Never.
No, I'm so excited, and I'm not excited just because I'm a Vikings fan. I'm excited just because of what it means for that team and for fantasy in general. Like, I think that going into it, it was going to. Having things set up the way that they were set up, JJ McCarthy was walking into the best position that he possibly could walk into. And now that JJ's locked up, they got Hawkinson locked up. They got Addison for another 4 years at least, or 3 years at least, if they don't grab that 5th-year option. They still got some question marks around the running back, but I mean, everything in that offense, especially for this year, Aaron Jones is going to be great. So it's wheels up for all of them for fantasy wise.
Awesome questions in the running back position. Didn't I see somewhere that Ty Chandler is like having like the most amazing camp that's ever been had?
I want to talk about it. There may or may not have been some trades that have happened for Ty Chandler that I'm kicking myself over now. But anyways,
I wouldn't beat myself up too hard. I really would. Tyler, what do you thought on about our man JJ getting the bag?
Good. I mean, he deserved it. He should have been. Frankly, I don't know if they paid him enough. He could have gotten more, or he could have gotten a higher guarantee number. It was 110 million guaranteed. When you said 88.7, I thought that was full guarantees. That was just at signing. So no, I had nothing to say about the guarantees, but I do think he could have gotten even higher APY if he really wanted to, because he deserved it and he's worth it.
I like it. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And to make it happen, like give credit to his crew for getting a very intricate and very smart contract, in my opinion, and for Minnesota for making that happen. Another thing, I don't know if this is newsworthy to anybody. I mean, to you guys, like might be to you, Tyler. So much. I'll come to you first. Nick Chubb, he says that he has no timetable of when he'll return to the field. Is this surprising? Does it like raise the hairs on the back of your neck? Are you worried?
I'm not worried just because, as a Browns fan, any Nick Chubb is good to have this year. As a fantasy football player, I would be a little bit concerned. You might be able to buy low on him, something like that. However, the one comment I will make about I don't have a timetable for return is, one, Nick Chubb is not a talker. You're not going to hear anything about Nick Chubb.
Exactly.
He's just going to be in there working his ass off. He's not going to post any videos to Instagram. He's not going to talk to anyone. He's just going to be working harder than everyone else. Also, interesting thing with his contract that they did redo his contract. He would have been like a $16 million cap hit. They brought him all the way down to a $6 million cap hit. However, he has $10 million worth of performance incentives built in there. So he has the opportunity to get back to that 16 million number that he would have had. If they really wouldn't have had faith that he was going to be back at some point this season and a decent portion into the season, I don't think they would have put that in there.
Okay. Yeah, and a really good point when you say like Nick Chubb isn't a talker. I was having a conversation last night, as a matter of fact, and I was like, did Nick Chubb really say this, or somebody saying that they heard him say it? Because I haven't heard him say 12 words since he came into the league. Like, he is all about that business, and I respect the hell out of that. Oh, yeah. Rich, you worried about Chubb? Or you worried about the Browns?
No, I'm not. I'm always hopeful for the Browns. I always kind of like them. They're like a sorry, Tyler, but the way I look at them, they're kind of like a little brother team. They're just kind of like the Lions, how you're always kind of rooting for them, unless you're playing them, of course. But you're always like, come on, buddy, you can do it. You got this.
Maybe the Browns will go to the AFC Championship like the Lions did in the NFC last year.
Right,
a little brother team.
Right. Hey, I'm loving it for the Lions. I am, and I really do hope the Browns do figure it out. That'd be sweet. But no, as far as Chubb goes, no, I'm not too worried. It's going to come when it's going to come. I wasn't investing a whole lot into Chubb to begin with. So I do have him in a couple spots, and where I have him, I'm hoping that he's going to hit in the long run, but that's about it. Yeah.
And we do have a comment from Mr. Jorge Edwards that I'm worried Jerome Ford's asking price is going to skyrocket. Don't worry about Jerome Ford. Jerome Ford is his backup. Deonta Foreman is the backup. He is the second running back you want on that team. So, if you have Jerome Ford and you could get a little price for him right now because of that, I'd say do it. But Deonta Foreman is going to be the go-to guy. I was very hyped for Jerome Ford last year. He showed exactly what he's capable of, and what he's capable of is being a very inconsistent second or 2B running back. He'll have a good game here or there, but Deonta Foreman is the guy you want in that running back room outside of Nick Chubb.
All right. And, so Mr. First Down, howdy back to you, my friend. Like, we love you as well. Albert, always good to see you. And our one and only Chris B, like a fellow Chris B. That's my brother, glad to see you tonight. Last thing, I don't think is really newsworthy, but you guys can always prove me wrong. So Jerry Jeudy, he's a little nicked up or whatever. Michael Pittman, he hurt his knee. He had a little ouchie. Aaron Rodgers, Robert Saleh doesn't really seem happy, but he's going to miss camp. Mean anything to you guys?
I don't like Rodgers missing camp. It doesn't bode well for the season.
But he's missing camp because he had a prior commitment, is what the word around the campfire is. And not because of, that whole injury last year or anything. It's because
was this prior commitment a family dinner?
Well, he doesn't talk to us. So maybe that's big news if he does. But yeah,
that's the breaking news we've been waiting for this whole time, is the Rodgers family dinner.
Rodgers is back with his family. Good stuff. All right, yeah, it's a time of year where you hear a lot of stuff and you really can't believe much of the information that you hear, but we're here to help you weed through that. All right. So we're going to move into, our Dynasty Fixer-Uppers. We're going to try to help you take your ailing teams and see if we can't, give you some advice on how to make them better. But starting off, we had a question from Twitter, and it is from, I'm going to bring this up. Tommy Blair, FF Tommy B at Twitter. Guys, he wants to know, how or when do you decide to change your strategy in a given league, and how fully do you jump in when you make the choice? Not a contend versus rebuild question. Tyler, we'll come to you first.
All right. So how do you decide when to change your strategy? I mean, I think everyone kind of has their own strategy that they attack Dynasty with. I think he's asking when you should kind of go for it or not go for it, which I don't entirely understand what he means by not a contend versus rebuild question, because isn't that kind of the point of it?
Yeah, I think you're on the right path there. I'm taking that to mean that he's asking, all right, so it's not where you're like, that you're contending or rebuilding. It's like you're in that limbo where you're like, all right, how do I know when it's time? And I think if you think it's time, then it's probably time last season. But continue.
Yeah.
I think you're on the right path there.
Yeah, so how do you know when it's time? Listen, I know fantasy football can be fluky at times. You can have the best team in the league, and you can have still the best chance you're going to get to win the league is probably like 35%. I think that was the number that Scott Connor gave us last year when he was on the show. But 35% is a pretty high number. So that feels good. When you are stuck in the middle, and don't just look at the standings, look at the points for, look at the max points for, look at the actual ability of your team and how many points they're capable of putting up. If you're stuck in the middle, if you're just sitting around that 6, 7, 8 mark and you're sneaking into the playoffs, that's when it's time to change something up. Just sitting in the middle is not what you want. You don't want to sit there and hope you sneak into the playoffs and flukily win a championship. No, you want to go for it. You want to get those draft picks. You want to get those high ceiling value picks in the draft that could turn into a Justin Jefferson at 11 or something like that. That's what you want to be going for. If you're sitting in the middle, it's time to change something. Either buy or sell, because you don't want to be there.
I agree. I think that's really good points that you make there, Tyler. So, Rich, let me ask you. So if you've decided that you're tired of being in the middle, like Tyler says, and you're going to tear it down, when it's time to tear it down, what's your move?
So the first thing that I do is I'm evaluating my positions. I'm checking to see where I'm strongest and where I'm weakest. I know a lot of people that evaluate your team like that gets thrown around a lot, but like I'm really looking to see what positions do I have a lot of strength at? What positions do I have that I can afford to lose a couple pieces at maybe? And what places is it that I need to build? And in that, what pieces do I need to build? What pieces can I build through trading versus through the draft itself? Like I'm more than willing, and as we'll find out later on, but I'm more than willing to trade away draft picks if it means that I have a chance at moving towards the championship right away. So if I think that I'm more in that breakdown though, if I'm rebuilding, I'm also willing to get rid of some of those bigger pieces, like Christian McCaffrey, or I got rid of Justin Jefferson one time and I ended up with Garrett Wilson, Drake London, and somebody else. I can't remember who, but it was a pretty solid. Puka Nacua. It was a pretty solid core of wide receivers that I got for Justin Jefferson. And so if you're able to build through the draft like that, I mean, it's rare that you're able to find that many big players, but if you can do it, that's where I go.
I like that.
And then sorry. And then I like to evaluate my the partners as well. Like who are my potential trade partners? Mm-hmm. I like to see like who does it actually make sense to make trades with? Like who else is also trying to rebuild or versus who's trying to compete right now? And then what is it that they need that I can give up? And then finally make the trade. Like I said, I don't care about winning or losing a trade. If it makes sense for my team, I'm going to make that trade.
I love it. I love it. And I think you guys have said it very well. So I hope that helps answer that question for you, Tommy. Thanks for sending that in. All right, guys. So now we're getting into, the drywall and the mortar. You know what I mean? Like the good stuff. Bob Vila. Like actually, we might get signed by HGTV because we're going to help rebuild some stuff here, guys. So we're going to go to our first team that we're going to help rebuild that was sent in. I'll pull that up here. All right. So on this team, I'll go ahead and read out for those who are listening right now. At quarterbacks, we got Kyler Murray, Devon Achane, Kenneth Walker, Nico Collins, Christian Kirk, Brock Bowers, Dontavian Wicks, Devin Singletary, Zach Charbonnet, Roman Wilson. And on the bench, he's got Sam Darnold, Izzy Abinaconda, Tank Bigsby, Alexander Madison, Demarcus Robinson, Juwan Jennings, Parker Washington, Gerald Everett, Zach Ertz, Dawson Knox. All right, and also has all of the rookie picks for the next season. And this is a 12-team super flex. And I'm assuming it's tight end premium. I'm not 100% sure, but I think so. All right, guys. So, Rich, I'm going to come to you first. When you look at this team, what do you like about it, if anything?
Right. So what I like about it, I love Kyler Murray. I think that he's gonna be an undervalued prospect. I think that a lot of people, actually, to be fair, people aren't really undervaluing him anymore. He's pretty well valued. But I think that those people are going to be right about him. Like I think that Kyler Murray is a great starting quarterback for a dynasty team. And then beyond that, I also did like the tight end situation. They got Brock Bowers this last year. That was pretty sweet. Once I have typically what I like to do anyways is I like to have one key starting tight end, which would be like Bowers or a Hawkinson or a Pitts or a Kelsey or Laporte or whatever. I like to have somebody that has a chance to be in that top 5, top 6 range. And then beyond that, I don't really care because the bye week for a tight end is just going to be a bye week for a tight end. It is what it is at that point, in my opinion anyways. Yeah, those are the things that I like about it. Yeah. The quarterback and the tight end. Really like that.
All right. Tyler, going to come to you. I'm going to ask you, what are some things that you like about it and what don't you like about this team?
So I like Kyler Murray. I think he's a solid top 10-ish quarterback that's going to be there for a while because that team really seems to believe in him. I like their running back room. I love that they have Nico Collins because I think he is going to be a perennial top 10 wide receiver. Bowers, yet to be seen, but I think he's going to get a whole lot of action. The thing that I really like about this team actually is it's a really, really good rebuild candidate. When we're talking about being stuck in the middle, that's kind of what this team is. They have zero depth. They're relying on a backup running back. They're relying on a Devin Singletary to be good in New York, I guess. They don't really have a second starting quarterback. You're hoping for Roman Wilson to develop to play in your super flex, or you play Sam Darnold there while JJ McCarthy is getting ready, but you got nothing else on your bench. So you need to give yourself a little room for error in Dynasty. You need to have some guys that you can pull off your bench and play. And they just don't have that. So, you can identify sell pieces on this team pretty easily. Running backs are always a sell, especially when you have these younger guys like Kenneth Walker and Devon Achane. They're not going to be around forever. You can sell them. You can get a price for Devin Singletary. You can, if you find the right person, someone like me, that's willing to pay a fair price for Christian Kirk, you can get a good price. And I really like that they have undervalued assets such as Dontavian Wicks, who can really come through and, it might somehow become a wide receiver 1 or 2 on the Packers. We'll see. But I like that they have easily sellable pieces that are going to fetch a fair price that people are going to be looking to buy, like Achane, Walker, Singletary. So they have a really good opportunity to kind of retool a bit and get their team ready for next year.
I like it. So with that, Rich, I'll start with you first. How are we going to help him get better? What does he need to do?
So the first thing that I thought of looking at this, kind of going off of what Tyler was saying, I would be looking to trade the running backs situation too. I actually kind of like the fact that he has Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet. Like just that handcuff situation. I like that a lot. So I don't know if I would get rid of Kenneth Walker. But Devin Achane, I think is somebody that you could get a good value out of right now just because of how much hype he had coming out from this last year. I think that he's somebody that you could definitely get a decent value for, maybe a first round pick or something along those lines to help out. Beyond that, the other thing that I was thinking, like Tyler was saying, you kind of nailed it, man. Christian Kirk was the other one that I was thinking about. I really like Christian Kirk too. And I think that he's somebody that if you find the right trade partner, maybe you might have to wait a couple games just to show that he is going to be the guy that I think that he's going to be there in Jacksonville again. But wait a couple games and then try to see if you can flip him for more than what you could have gotten him for at the beginning of the season, or gotten for him at the beginning of the season, I should say.
All right. I love it. And Tyler, you kind of like gave some hints on things that you would do. Anything to add that you would do, like to flip this?
Yeah, I kind of jumped the shark on my answer a bit and just kind of went ahead of Rich there. So sorry about that, bud.
No.
So one thing that I think people are underrating is, everyone wants the dream of, I have Patrick Mahomes and Jalen Hurts, or Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert, or Joe Burrow or something. You don't need those guys. You've got a guy with Kyler Murray that has running ability, that has QB1 upside. A guy with the athleticism of Kyler Murray is always going to have QB1 upside. You need a solid QB2. You need someone like a Baker Mayfield that's going to come in and produce for you. You need some, and it pains me to say this because he should be valued like this and not high anymore. You can have Deshaun Watson back there as your QB2. That's going to be a decent top 15 guy. So, if you want to go the opposite way of rebuild, you said they have all their rookie picks. You can rely on Dontavian Wicks to be a sleeper pick. You're going to get good production from Nico Collins and Christian Kirk. You can go out and get a quarterback that's going to produce for you, or you can even trade one of your running backs for a quarterback that's going to produce for you. Plus, you can get some undervalued assets that you believe in. Unfortunately, this team has like my example of undervalued asset that you can go out and buy in Dontavian Wicks, but you can get guys like that.
I mean, apparently Hot Take City thinks that Wicks is going to be a sleeper. Put it in the chat twice. So we hear you.
Yeah, he means it.
Didn't hear me the first time? Let me tell you, he's going to be a sleeper.
All right. So, Team 1, we hope that helps you out a little bit. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to lie. I hope it doesn't help you out at all. I hope every move that you make is the worst move ever because you are in my dynasty and I don't want you to win it. But there's no bias here on Dynasty 365. We give you either open and honest takes at all times. All right, guys. So we are going to move on to team number 2. And as I bring team number 2 up to the stage, it's an interesting team, as you can see here. For the quarterbacks, I'll give you the rundown. Kind of like everybody knows whose team that is now. Sam Howell, Trey Lance, Gardner Minshew, Ryan Tannehill, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, and Russell Wilson. So as Tyler said, you don't need the Mahomes or the Allens and everything to win. Like this team's showing you that. Running back, Leonard Fournette, Eric Gray, Christian McCaffrey, Raheem Mostert, Miles Sanders, Jonathan Taylor, and Sean Tucker. Wide receivers, we got Tyler Boyd, DeAndre Hopkins, Jalen Hyatt, Justin Jefferson, Zay Jones, Jacoby Myers, Donovan Peoples-Jones. Wow, Allen Robinson. Wow, okay. Juju
He's on the
Smith.
Giants?
I didn't know he was still in the league.
Yeah, he's on the Giants. Come on now.
He's on the Giants. Okay. We got Juju. We got Adam Thielen. We got Slant Boy. And we got Robert Woods.
Another major league reference of this guy here is dead. Cross him off.
Oh, man. And then Tyler Higbee and Kyle Pitts. All right. So since we kind of we know whose team this is a little bit, and Tyler, we're gonna come to you first.
All right. Question
like
first. What are the starting slots? Is it best ball?
That's a good question.
Nope, not best ball. Starting slots are 10. 10, yep. It is 3 wide receivers, I believe. No, it's 2 to 5 wide receivers, 2 to 5 running backs. Same with the tight ends, and then the quarterback with super flex.
You people in your is this FFPC? Is that what this
No,
is?
that's MFL.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. So, Chris, you said I referenced that you don't need a Mahomes and a Herbert. I was more referencing that you don't need 2 of them. It'd be nice to have one. I guess Russell Wilson can be Russell Wilson, as long as he's the quarterback there, will probably put up semi-decent numbers. How long will he be the quarterback there? I do not know. Gardner Minshew is likely, I at least believe that Gardner Minshew is likely going to be the starter in Vegas. Trey Lance is Trey Lance. It's an afterthought now. Ryan Tannehill doesn't have a home. Dorian Thompson-Robinson is a third stringer on the Browns. And Sam Howell is stuck behind Geno Smith. So you're not getting a whole lot of production there. You got really good running backs. You got Christian McCaffrey. You got Jonathan Taylor. You got Raheem Mostert, who was the RB2 for most of last year and is likely going to be productive again this year for the Dolphins as long as he's on the field. Big caveat there. He actually stayed healthy for most of last year. Wide receivers are freaking rough, man. I mean, you got Justin Jefferson, which is awesome. That's half a wide receiver room in itself. But you just got a lot of old guys there, Rich. I don't know what to tell you. And then you got Kyle Pitts at tight end. So what do I like? I like the running back room. I like Justin Jefferson, and I like Kyle Pitts. Yeah, that's what I like.
That's what I like.
And I agree with everything that Tyler's saying there. Yeah, you have to love Justin Jefferson. It's impossible not to. And the running backs and everything. Looking at the team, and you say that, Rich, this team was, in the chip 2 years in a row?
2 years in a row, yep. Missed it last year by the whatever championship, not the championship, but the round before.
Yeah, because of a Sam Howell dud, wasn't it?
Yeah, Sam Howell just kind of got benched. Who knew that was going to happen to the number 5 quarterback last year?
Yeah. So, I mean, and everything that Tyler has just said, there's no need for me to re-say it because, I mean, he put it in perspective perfectly, in my opinion. I agree with everything he said. We're in lockstep right there. So, like with things that like with dislike, I think I kind of might have showed my cards a little bit there when I was reading some of those wide receivers. Is there, so is there like a transaction fee or something to like make moves or whatever? Because like I feel like you have a couple roster cloggers on here. Allen Robinson and Robert Woods, they're not giving you anything. Like, I mean, you can't drop
Right.
them and have some other dart throws or whatever. Or are you a believer in them? Like, I guess that would make a difference.
Allen Robinson is difficult for me to drop because of how much I did believe in him. I'll be honest.
Rich.
I know. Believe me,
You got
fallacy.
Stop it.
Yeah. There's in my defense, there's nobody really left to take dart throws on in the pool anymore, in the free agency pool. So it's pretty bleak in there as it is. But yeah, I could probably drop those two and not blink an eye. You're right.
Yeah, because I mean, I don't know when you would ever think about starting them. But so moving on from like what we like and dislike about the team, like I think this is a team that you can really do some things with. You have some pieces that can really help you out, and you also have pieces that you can sell to get you over the top if you are like in fact going for the rebuild. So Christian McCaffrey, he will still fetch something right now. You just got to find that owner that's really, really in love with him. But I mean, he's still going to give you a decent return. Jonathan Taylor is going to give you a decent return. And it's because if you're going into this full rebuild or whatever, the running backs aren't going to do you any good for the next 3 years, like these two guys. So if you use them to make your team better in other ways, that's possible. I would quarterback. I feel like really need to address that. Did you say you start one or two again? I forgot.
Two.
I'm sorry.
Superflex. Yep.
Oh, so it's a super flex. So you have to start two of them. And I'm looking at your team, and if Tyler's right and Gardner Minshew has the job in Las Vegas, then I guess he's your two. And Wilson, if he keeps the job over Fields, could be your one. But that's real shaky. I don't feel real comfortable with that at all. And I imagine that you don't either. I would try to find a way to address the quarterback position. Have you already had the rookie draft?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Not that it matters. I don't have any picks.
You didn't have any picks?
I don't have any picks.
I was going to say, who'd you take? You didn't take anyone.
I didn't take nobody.
Take Gray?
It's a
Last year?
Eric Gray last year, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, that would be my thing. I feel like I would try to move some of the running backs and try to like really help my quarterback room, and then, well, yeah, see what you can get. I mean, Tyler, I'm gonna hand it over to you because that's my 2 cents, and I'm sure that didn't help you one bit, Rich.
So okay. I went through kind of while we were sitting here. I counted 6 wide receivers that I would have absolutely no problem dropping right now.
Yeah, I'm with you.
And if we're 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, so that's 50% of your wide receiver room. I
and can you start Boyd and Hopkins at the same time? Are you doing that?
Old Will Jeans, Levi's. I don't know. My phone, every time I try to type Levis on my phone, it autocorrects it to Levi's, and I will not change it. I'm just using Levi's forever. Throws that apostrophe in there. Jacoby Myers could be useful for another year. I guess I have some kind of hope for Jalen Hyatt still.
Me too.
That might be my take lock for your Allen Robinson, because I liked him, but as much as it pains me to say it, there's a chance you have to look at moving Justin Jefferson off this team. You got Christian McCaffrey, who will get you a good price. You got Jonathan Taylor, who will get you a good price. Other than Justin Jefferson, that's it. You're not going to get a good price for Russell Wilson. You're not going to get a good price for any of those wide receivers. I guess Kyle Pitts, but he's still kind of devalued right now.
Yeah.
So, it hurts to say it a little bit, but if you could get a haul for Justin Jefferson, I know it would hurt you way more than it would hurt me, but it might be worth looking into. So this one is screw it, go for it, or a full rebuild. And I lean toward full rebuild.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Hey, Rich, I have a question. Is this one of those leagues that has like a weird scoring format where you get extra points for like per name? like Dorian Thompson Robinson. You got Juju Smith-Schuster.
Hey, I like DTR. Come on now.
Jones.
We've got 3 hyphens on this team. Good God.
I think we may have found your problem, Rich.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. I really do. This was I was wondering how you all would feel about it, because this is my baby. Like I said, this was I repeated in this one. It was the first time that I ever repeated in a dynasty league, and I was super excited about it. And like I said, last year I went for the 3-peat and sold everything off, and that was the wrong choice. But hindsight's 2020. I was going for that chip.
This is your baby. Try not to have kids, man.
Tyler said, "Screw the sledgehammer." He came in with a wrecking ball. Wow. Oh gosh, that's good stuff.
I deserve that.
Yeah, you do. Like, I'm not saying he was wrong.
Let's be honest.
All right, guys. So we're gonna move on to our third team here. And this third team seems to be a pretty fun one. Let's check this team out. On this team, we have our boy Kyler Murray again, Bijan, Charbonnet, Garrett Wilson, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Mark Andrews, Trey McBride, Khalil Shakir, Kendre Miller, Will Levis, Piron Penny, Dowdle, Algier, A.T. Perry, Tutu Atwell, Rashad Bateman, Burke, Sky Moore, Parker Washington. Good gracious. Trey Palmer, Isaiah Likely. You got Jelani Woods, and you got the tight ends in Green Bay. Plus, they have the 101, the 104, the 106, the 201, 301, and 401. So, fellas, when you see this team right here, like, do you think this rebuild is going a lot longer, or do you think they're ready to make a splash here? Rich, we'll start with you since we just, talk bad about your baby.
Right? No, yeah, the first thing, like, I was going through it, and like I saw Kyler Murray, I was like, yes, I love it. I saw Bijan, I was like, yes, I love it. Saw Garrett Wilson, I was like, yes, I love it. Like, you got like a perfect player starting at each spot, I think. You got Mark Andrews and Trey McBride as well. I love that. That's just a solid back-to-back pick, especially with tight end premium. I don't know what the scoring format was on it, but I love your tight end situation. And then as far as the bench goes, first, actually, it looks like this is a 1 QB league, so I really like the fact that you got Will Levis, kind of like how Tyler was talking about. You don't need a second Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen or whatever. Like, I think Will Levis is a great backup, especially for this year at least. Beyond that, bench was all right. There's a couple of players in there that I really like that I'm hoping will end up working out for them. But for the most part, I really love the pick situation that they were in as well. I love the fact that you got 3 first-round picks, and they're early first-round picks in this draft. 1 mid and then 2 early ones. Like, that's solid.
Yes, sir. Tyler, what do you think about this team?
So this team for me is clearly a contender. With those picks, as it stands right now, as the starting lineup is right now, it's still good. I'm assuming this is a tight end premium. Seeing as it's one quarterback, and this team has invested heavily in the tight end position, from Mark Andrews to Trey McBride to Isaiah Likely, Jelani Woods, Luke Musgrave, Tucker Kraft. So I think the real question with this team actually is, what should you do with these picks? I think we all know who kind of the consensus 101. He's probably going to go Marvin Harrison Jr.
Absolutely.
Rich, thank you for pointing out that it is a 1 QB, because I just automatically assumed that Kendre Miller spot was a super flex spot, and it's not. So, Marvin Harrison, but what do you do with 104? I think that's where it gets really interesting for this team, because you have 4 very clear pass catchers that are on another level value-wise from everyone else. You've got Marvin Harrison Jr., you got Rome Odunze, you got Malik Neighbors, and then you got Brock Bowers. If I'm guessing, Brock Bowers is going to be there at the 104. That's the last thing this team needs. So can he find a way to get multiple late firsts and load up on the one position where he's really hurting at of running back? You got Bijan Robinson. That's awesome. Charbonnet will be helpful. He will not be an every week RB2. So can you go and get some of these guys? Can you get Jonathan Brooks? Can you get Trey Benson? Can you get a Blake Corum or a Jalen Wright? Can you just load up on these high ceiling guys in the late first in this one QB league and really, really go for
it? Absolutely. I mean, Tyler, so you make a really great point, because that's what I was thinking. I was like, the situation that he's in a prime spot to trade back, a couple of those first. And in doing so, he can still move back later in the draft and probably pick up one of these aging vets that people are really low on right now, just to give himself like a little more like balance and just fill the roster out a little bit more. Somebody who's going to give you a little bit more than Rashad Penny's going to right now. Like, I know that we didn't see much from him last year, but in Carolina, I don't expect him to like be amazing. But I mean, and then players like Treylon Burks, I don't really know what to expect from Burks, but after 2 years, I'm no longer holding hope that he's going to be what everybody thought he was going to be. Sky Moore, the first year you gave him a pass because you like Andy Reid doesn't really let his rookie wide receiver shine so much, and he did even less his sophomore year. So, I'm done with him as well. Parker Washington, he had a couple good games, one good game, but and I really love how he's cornering the market on tight ends, so with all these like the backup tight ends. So he handcuffed Mark Andrews, and then he's got the tight end, whichever one is going to be from Green Bay. So I really like what's happening there, but I really think, the best move is to move a couple of those first, like Tyler said, move back in the draft, acquire some more capital, and run this league for a while. So, I mean, that's a very solid situation you got. I wonder how long that rebuild was going for him. But I think he's ready to make a splash right now. And so, Rich, when you see a team like that, how does that make you feel with your baby? Make you feel good?
It makes me sad, but I knew that all good things have to come to an end at some point.
Yeah, you're right. The only thing I would say is that would make this team better than what it is right now is if instead of Bijan, he had Jahmyr Gibbs. And all right, so this is inside joke. This team is our very own. It's like Drew Scott. And I went on his show last year, and they had a debate session where they were talking about Bijan and Jahmyr Gibbs, and I ruled against him, so I picked Gibbs, and he hasn't let me forget that yet. That's the only reason why I said that. But anyway,
you didn't want to say the name of their debate segment?
Oh, Master Debation?
Yeah,
that is a great segment. Yeah, talking about the Fourth and Frames guys who are coming on after us. So shout out to those guys. Love them.
So
all right, fella.
One thing actually, real quick, if I can.
Take your time.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask what you all, because the one thing that I thought about actually, and Tyler pointed out, was Bowers would probably be there at the 104. Mm-hmm. What would you say about taking Bowers and ditching Andrews? Do you think you could get anything for Andrews right now? Because that's what I was thinking. That was my big play would be to take Bowers, have Bowers and McBride, wouldn't need Andrews anymore. See what you can get for him.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a solid point, because I am personally a believer in Andrews, and if the price is right, like I'd be all over it. Like,
yeah, right.
Yeah, and Bowers. But my thing is, I think my pause that would stop me from doing that is that while I think Bowers is going to be great, I do think this year he's going to be kind of slow for liftoff. I don't think that it's going to be the true Brock Bowers we're going to get right now, mainly because Devontae Adams is still there, and whoever that quarterback is going to target the hell out of Adams, because we've seen with Minshew and we've seen it with O'Connell. So whoever it is, we do know they have take lock on their favorite wide receiver. So, Tyler, what do you think about that?
I think for the position this team's in, I probably wouldn't do it primarily because I don't believe Mark Andrews is in a good spot to sell.
Okay.
I think he is going to outperform the value that people have assigned him. I feel like he's just kind of, with Laporta coming up, with Trey McBride, with Kelsey still in the conversation, with Hawkinson getting extended, with Bowers coming in. I feel like Mark Andrews has just gotten shunned out of the top 5 tight end conversation because he was hurt last year and no one really saw it and no one saw what he was capable of in this new offense. You got to remember the Ravens still have not heavily invested in the wide receiver position. I think they had a really good pick and a hit with Zay Flowers. They extended Rashad Bateman, which I'm not concerned about. Mark Andrews is still going to be a very, very, very large part of that Baltimore passing game. And we did not get to see the fully evolved Baltimore passing game because Mark Andrews was so hurt last year.
Right.
So I do not have interest in selling someone that I believe is going to vastly outperform their assigned value. So that's my only issue with it. I like the idea of it, but I also totally agree with Chris where it might be a little slow to lift off for Bowers. You still got Michael Mayer there. They're going to lock in on Devontae Adams. And don't forget about Jacoby Myers. So, no one's worried about a high-powered Raiders offense this year.
Zamir White to the moon.
To the moon, man. He's going to get 412 carries and average 3.7 yards per carry, and he's going to be Najee Harris.
Hey, man.
Yeah.
Fantasy points, no matter how inefficient they are. All right. So we really hope that, you found some value and some of the insight will help you as you try to turn these teams around. All right, guys. So now we're going to come to our bonus for the night. And this is Dynasty Pick'em. All right. So you've remodeled your forever home and you want to ensure that your first year in it can be the best it can be. Which of these players will make it happen? So the premise of this is a Dynasty show, but we're talking about which of these players do you want right now on your contending team right now. Okay. So we're not talking about like from the Dynasty mindset, I'm looking 3 years into the future, anything like that. We're talking about you're ready to go. Who do you want on your squad right now? Okay. First up with our quarterbacks, Kirk Cousins or Tua Tagovailoa? Tyler, I see it in your eyes.
I'm going
Which one
Tua.
are you taking? Okay.
I'm going Tua. That one's easy for me. You got a 36-year-old coming off of a torn Achilles in a brand new offense, or you get Tua, who, I have my reservations about long-term, but we're talking 1 year, and this Dolphins offense is going to put up numbers. There is no avoiding that. They are going to be top 5, top 10 in scoring again this year because they still have Tyreek Hill. They still have Jalen Waddle. They still have Mike McDaniel calling the plays. Tua, easy, not close for me.
Okay. All right. And so since you've answered that and you're like, this year's not close, if we are talking in a dynasty mindset, like fast forwarding 3 years, same answer or are you changing it?
Same answer.
Okay.
I think, I feel like I've matured as a football fan a little bit because, listen, your team's not going to find the next Patrick Mahomes, okay? You're not just going to ship Tua down the river and be like, all right, we'll get the next guy. We're going to have the Pat Mahomes coming up next at the number 12 pick. Like, that shit's not happening, man. You got a guy that can captain your offense to a top 5 season, to one of the most efficient offenses in the NFL. Sure, you have questions about him. Sure, he had an injured year. You're a little worried about him. You don't just get rid of him, because the guys that are capable of that, regardless of being a system quarterback, there's not a lot of them.
That's true. That's true. I like it. Rich, who you taking? Who you picking?
Out of those two, no, I'm well. So for the immediate, I'm going Tua. Like Tyler said, I'm worried about that Achilles injury situation. So yeah, no, I'm definitely going Tua out of those ones. I think Tyler hit all the notes perfectly. I got nothing to add.
I think you did too, man. I'm like, you got me more excited about Tua than I've ever been. All right. All right. So, Rich, we're going to start with you on this next one. We're going to do the running backs. Who you picking? Bijan Robinson or CMC? Christian McCaffrey, for those who don't know.
For the immediate, I'm going Christian McCaffrey. I do love Bijan Robinson, and I'm hoping that he figures it out there and everything. And I think that he will. I really would be surprised if he didn't. But Christian McCaffrey is Christian McCaffrey. Number 3 overall player last year, number 1 running back. I fully expect he's going to run it back again, especially being in that Shanahan offense. As soon as he went to the 49ers, I was like, yep, that's my running back 1.
Okay. I love it.
And I have a hard time in the immediate. I still have Christian McCaffrey. I really want to put him as my RB1 in Dynasty in general, but it's a little bit harder given his age.
Do it. Just do it. Don't be scared. Say it with your chest. Tyler, what about you? Who you picking?
I'm still immediate. That's an easy Christian McCaffrey. You know, anyone can get injured. Let's stop talking about that. This is a guy in 2023. The NFL in 2023 was 3rd in MVP voting last year. That shit ain't gonna happen again. It's just not. We're not gonna see a running back win an MVP again. And it could have happened last year. Like he's always been one of the most talented guys at that position. He's just always been a freak show. And he absolutely had himself a year last year in that Shanahan offense. Just career highs everywhere. You know, he did clear that 2,000 yard from scrimmage mark for the second time in his career. He cleared the 20 touchdown mark for the first time in his career. He was everything on that offense. And that's saying something because they have Brandon Ayuk, they have Deebo Samuel, and they have George Kittle. And Christian McCaffrey was everything. And he's going to continue to be as long as he's on the field. So I'm taking him.
Yes. I love Christian McCaffrey. I'm so happy that he's no longer in Carolina. I felt so bad for him there. All right, guys. Up next, we're talking about our wide receivers. Michael Pittman or Chris Olave? Let's see. Tyler, who you picking?
Michael Pittman. You know, that it hurts a little bit because I love Chris Olave. I've always been a fan of Derek Carr, but I think I don't even know what to call it. The environment in New Orleans is not conducive to playing football well, or really at all. That entire organization is a disaster. They're just running it back with Dennis Allen. They're just running everything back, even though they were so uninspiring. They were so awful to watch. Yeah. The offensive line got worse. Alvin Kamara is a year older. Like, just I don't want anything to do with that offense in any way, shape, or form. So give me Michael Pittman. Give me the Colts offense.
Love it. Rich, what says you, sir? Who you picking?
Same answer, Michael Pittman. I loved what we saw out of Pittman with the little bit that he got to be with Anthony Richardson. So I'm excited about that. I'm happy that they got Joe Flacco just in case. So I think that, you know, worst comes to worst. We don't play scared, but worst comes to worst. If something does happen to Anthony Richardson, you still got Joe Flacco back there able to throw the ball, and he's gonna get his top receiver the ball, just like he showed that he's gonna do with Cooper in Cleveland there. So yeah, no, give me Pittman all day.
Love it. All right, and we're coming to a tight end right now, and this one I can't wait to hear you guys' answers on this one because it's spicy. 2024, Rich. And for tight end, who you picking? Laporta or Kelsey?
I'm guessing this is going to be our first one where we disagree on. At least I'm guessing. I'm going Laporta. And this might have more to say about the fact that Kelsey is the age that he is. I mean, we all heard today. We already talked about a little bit about how he said he is ready for them to put the load on him, and he's ready for the wear and the tear. There's a lot of wear and tear on him already. Like, there's a lot of tread on those tires, and so I am a little concerned given his age. But that's not to say that he doesn't have a chance to do it again. So this is more about me hedging my bet and going with the safe play with Laporta in hoping that he's going to repeat what he did last year.
Okay. I think it's just you loving the NFC North besides Minnesota, to be honest with you, but we won't bring that up again. All right.
That's fair.
Tyler.
That's fair.
Asking you same question, Tyler. Who you picking,
All right.
Laporta or Kelce?
Let me give you a number first. 349 out of 492. That is 71%. Those numbers are the amount of games that LeBron James has played since he joined the Los Angeles Lakers. I do not give a shit what Travis Kelce says about put the load on me. I'm ready to go. They're going to load manage him. They are going to get him to the playoffs, and they're going to unleash him. They are going to LeBron James load manage Travis Kelce. It is irresponsible. It is silly, and it is senseless to go out there and give Travis Kelce 170, 180, 190 targets when you're going to have Rashee Rice. You just invested a first-round pick in Xavier Worthy. Is he still going to be productive? Is he going to be a top 10 tight end? Yes. But I don't believe he's going to get the volume to be the tight end 1 again. I believe he finishes tight end 4 last year. I might be making that up. But, Laporta is going to – he's valued higher than where he's going to perform, but he's still going to be a top 3 tight end. So I'm going Laporta.
Wow.
All right. So both of you guys are going Laporta. I'm going Travis Kelce. I know I haven't really said, but I'm going Travis Kelce. And it's because, I love both of these guys. Don't get me wrong. I love Laporta a lot. I love Kelce a lot. But I think in Kansas City, he is the focal point of that offense. He's the, straw that stirs the drink. You brought Hollywood Brown in, okay, and you invested in Xavier Worthy, okay. Rashee Rice, we expect him to be suspended for a little bit, but he's going to do his thing when he's on the field. Okay. I think those guys actually help Travis Kelce, be more of Travis Kelce. He doesn't have to take the load on so much, so to your point, Tyler, they could kind of load manage him, but Andy Reid doesn't just pull people out of games. You know what I mean? He's not like treating them like the Warriors when Steph Curry only played 3 quarters and won an MVP. So I think he's still going to do the thing. Laporta, my biggest thing with Laporta is that Laporta, he did something that nobody's ever done. He broke the rookie record, with the touchdowns and everything he had as tight end. He's not scoring 10 touchdowns again this season, I don't believe. And I feel that, the reason why they're records and they're not broken every time you go out there and play because they're hard to attain. So I feel that he's going to trend down a little bit and, not be what he was last year, but he's still going to be solid. And I think Kelce is still going to finish the season as a top 2 tight end, regardless of what happens with him. So that's just me. Yeah.
I'm going to make a bet with you on that one.
We should. Even at his advanced age, I'm looking out for the old people. I got to hold it down for the old people that, still got some gray and all.
Right here, right now. What's the bet?
Oh man, I don't know.
We got to think about. We got to think about it. But don't worry. So hold on. What will we be betting? Who's going to have a better fantasy season, Laporta or Kelce? Or Kelce won't finish top 2?
Kelce won't finish top 2.
Okay, I mean,
do a pie bet.
Yeah, we can do a pie bet. You got the better odds on that. It's kind of like taking Tiger over the field. Always take the field.
Fine. Top 3. You want top 4? I'll give you top 4.
Okay, I'll take it. But, give me top 10.
No.
All right.
No.
So we got a pie bet. We got a pie bet. Rich, mark it down just so we make sure,
all right,
when it comes time for Tyler to cover that pretty face and pie, everybody remembers. And with that, we have finished another episode of Dynasty 365. A big thanks to everybody who submitted their questions or supplied their teams for us to discuss. We really appreciate that. And thank you to you, everybody that's watching us on YouTube or listening to us on your favorite podcast platform. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter. He's Tyler Howell at FF Tyler Howell. He's the gingerbeard man himself, Rich Sickles, at Rich Sickles GBM, and I'm Dynasty Deviant. You can visit us at the, fantasyinframes.com, or check us out on YouTube or wherever you consume your favorite podcast. While you're there, do us a favor, please. Like, comment, subscribe, leave a review. Tell Rich how pretty his beard is and how much he looks like a long-lost Kelsey brother. We'd appreciate that. Also, hit that bell so you're notified whenever new content drops. And while you're getting that content, check out the rest of the Fantasy and Frame shows. We're Dynasty 365, where we take care of your Dynasty needs. Fourth and Frames follows us, and that's for all your redraft content. And Shoot the Gap has the IDP content that we know and love. IDP. Tune in on Thursdays for the Fantasy Football Weekly and the Draft Show. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out. Now, let's pick up those fantasy hammers and build a fantasy championship. Good night, everybody.